Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Zelda Speedruns number 2. It's time for more Twilight Princess, and it's time for LavaDash Goron Mines RTA tournament. And we are progressing at a pretty quick pace. We're in lower brackets quarterfinals, so not much more to do. And it's a great matchup with Pheenoh going up against Jeez. And I'm sure you want to see the action as soon as possible, so let me switch off my mic and hand it off to two wonderful commentators, and in the guy downstairs and Link 1183. Take it away, it's all yours.
Thank you, Trez.
Thank you.
So yeah, hey everyone, I'm Link.
I am the guy downstairs, or TGD, or however you want to call me.
And so yeah, today we have Pheenoh versus Jeez. It's gonna be a great race, I think. I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, they're two very skilled runners. Pheenoh having been around since basically the dawn of time as far as TP is concerned, and Jeez being a little bit newer of a runner, but also
A really good and really consistent runner.
A very good runner.
So yeah, starting in 5 seconds. And good luck.
So the beginning of this run starts off very quickly. Our runners are both going to be heading to the right here to pick up a rock, which has been named Dwayne. And they're going to use Dwayne to clip into the gate and void out and reset their console frame perfectly in order to put them on the title screen. And this trick is called back in time. And they're going to be using back in time to do a back in time save in order to give themselves a few useful flags, which will come in handy a little bit later.
Yeah. So you're gonna see both runners clipping. Nice, that was good for them.
Good for both
clipping to the gates and then running to the other side of the bridge to do a little setup where they both got it right, looks like. And as you can see, they were on the Orden Bridge, which obviously it's not supposed to happen, but that is just because, as TDG said, they both reset their game as the exact same frame as they void out. And now they can just save onto a file and reset during the fade out, reset during the save process, and come back to the game.
Yeah, back in time has a lot of useful properties. The main flag that is set is the flag of opponent being tamed. And at this point, it gives you, or the opponent being tamed flag is what allows us to get the iron boots early in 90%. However, we will be getting them a little bit later. It also has the added effect of giving us the hero's clothes, the Highland shield, and the Orden sword. But something to note about it is even though we visually have them and are able to use them, the game does not technically consider us having them in memory, which will cause problems a little bit later down the line.
And so right now, if the runners were to press start to open their inventory, which please guys don't do that, it is slow, you will see that they do not have the sword and the shield icon. The only icon that they would have in their inventory right now is the rupee bag icon, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and just something that I guess we can touch on here is we can see Jeez is doing a little bit of camera manipulation. I guess on his console, he gets a lot of extra lag in this area, and that really affects his ability to chain or frame perfectly chain rolls. Rolling in this game is kind of specific because ideally you would like to frame perfectly chain your rolls all the time. Frame perfect roll is determined by, if you look at the little lantern icon, if it stays kind of low opacity, then that means they got a frame perfect roll, but if it comes back to full opacity, that means they dropped frame perfect rolls. And essentially they want to do that because for every dropped frame perfect roll, you actually lose quite a lot of speed. And the amount of speed you lose depends on the slope. So if you're going up or down the slope, you're going to lose more speed than if you were moving on completely flat surfaces. and Farron Woods has a lot of slopes in a lot of places, so they really want to maintain those frame perfect rules.
Yeah, and none of the runners did any specific mistakes, but you can see that right now Jizz is a lot ahead of Pheenoh by like 7-8 seconds maybe, and that is just because of those rules. Jizz got better rules overall than Pheenoh, so he is a lot ahead, and you can lose like 20-30 seconds if he gets really bad rules in this area. This split is just really movement heavy. And that was a 4:06 for that. Those are both really solid times for gauge break.
Yeah, that would have been the equivalent of a sub 4 cage break from G's, because safe back in time loses roughly 7-8 seconds depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
There is actually another method of back in time. We saw both our runners run to the end of the bridge and pressed A and D pad at the same time. But generally, if you're going for a PB attempt, you'd be able to reset. So they would just go, instead of going all the way across the bridge, they would just do a side hop and reset from there, which saves 7-8 seconds over the safety method. But obviously, that is a lot less safe than just using the other method. So typically in no resets, they'll go for that. And Goat's giving G's a very hard time already.
Yeah, that is bad. Although he did react pretty well to that goat. So yeah,
I've never seen it like that.
The goat's behavior is pretty much RNG. It is not RNG in the way that they are positioned at the beginning. It is RNG in the way that they move, that they react to Link, and sometimes this RNG can be really rough. As you can see, I didn't quite see Pheenoh's time. He got a 20 something, while G's got a 36. So yeah.
That's one of the many things in this category, and really just in Twilight Princess in general, that can lose you just a large amount of time.
Yeah. So this is where normally in an any percent speedrun you would see runners get the iron bits, but as TGT said at the beginning of the run, we're not gonna do that right now for because we do want the iron boots to complete to be this category. The core mines we need, if we were to skip iron boots, we would need a lot more items. It would take a lot of time, but it is possible to skip iron boots completely. The only thing is that we do want iron boots anyways. We do want a heavy state anyways, and iron boots is the fastest one to get. But we do not want to get it there because of other reasons that I guess we can explain later. We are gonna get the Master Sword in this category, which is gonna break Goron mines, and that's yeah. Yeah, we are gonna use the Iron Boots cutscene to do some pretty glitchy stuff, basically, to enter Goron mines.
Yeah, the Master Sword does a lot of things to the game as well as back in time. So a lot of this game is doing glitches that break the game, and then having to do other glitches to fix said broken game state. But it does end up being faster, so
it is surprisingly hard to get back to normal states, I would say, if you get Master Sword early. If you start glitching out in this game, in a lot of cases, you will not be able to go back to a normal state.
Exactly. Like back in time we mentioned before, also implements a required glitch, which we'll see here in about 4 minutes or so. But right now we have the runners are in basically the wolf tutorial section of the game. Right now they're just running through sewers and pulling chains to raise and lower the water levels. And there's a little bit of tech going on here, known as dash canceling. Basically, if you were to interrupt your dash within 10 frames of initiating it, you'll be able to initiate another dash right away. So there you saw G's did a dash, press B to cancel it, and then dash once again. And you'll see them do that again after this chain pull. And that essentially just adds a little bit of optimization for this sewer section.
Yeah, because otherwise you would have to wait for your dash cooldown to refresh, which takes a lot of time. And Wolf dashing as Wolf is so much faster than just walking as Wolf.
In here we saw G's did a completely useless trick called Midna TD. Or I guess it's not useless, but we don't use it in the traditional sense that TD is used. He basically talked to Midna from just outside of her cutscene loading zone or trigger, and that basically allowed him to talk to her earlier and skips the text box. I think it saves like roughly a second or something like that. It is nothing
Less than that.
nothing major.
It's really more half a second as far as I know.
Oh man. Yeah, so it's just more it's one of those things with TP that's just kind of for swag.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so you could see there, Pheenoh got a weird early jump like this, which Jace didn't get, unfortunately. Whenever you have a midnight jump with a text box right before it, you will be able to input a frame. You'll be able to press A frame perfectly to do an early jump like this. This is called a first framer, and there are a lot of examples of it in this game. We're gonna see a couple. Another.
Oh, Pheenoh, please don't.
Okay, that was scary. Yeah, that was scary. Sorry, that was another instance of a potential first framer there, which neither of them got. Each of them saves like a second or so.
Yeah, they're each individual one framer during sewers doesn't save a lot of time individually, but collectively can make like a 10-second difference between getting every single one of them and not getting all of them. So they actually do come out to be a lot of time saved throughout the segment.
Yeah.
And usually, as this being a short segment, it's just basic move, or not basic, but more simple movement. Most of the time save comes down to whether or not you can mash well to get those Wonder Framers.
So now we are coming to a major reset point of this category, which is this little. Oh my god, what is he doing over there, for Pheenoh? This guy is called Hugo. Basically, we are gonna use him to do a trick known as the sword and shield skip. So, if you remember casually, the game wants you to pick the Ordnance Sword and the Ordnance Shield right now. But there are two things with this. The first one is that it is extremely slow. It takes like 4 minutes in total to do that. It is extremely slow. And the second thing is that we can't do that right now. It is impossible to do. I'll just explain that in a second while both runners got it. So let's see. So you want to position the bobbin in specific spots, and that was really good from Cheese. And you know, having a little bit more troubles with the RNG.
That should work.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
Nice.
So the reason why you cannot get Hugo, you're gonna get the sword and shield right now, is just because of the Epona saved fly. It is actually impossible to get the sword and shield right now, because the game is just in a state that is post saving Epona. Which is a state where it is impossible to get the sword and the shield. So right now, as soon as the runners executed back in time and saved on their file, this file was completely locked from 100%. Oh, it's nice, interesting stretch from G's.
I'd never seen someone do just like the front two. But yeah, sword and shield skip is definitely the biggest. I'd say the biggest gatekeeper for anybody trying to start this game, just because doing back in time does require you to do that trick. There is no other way around it if you do back in time. Doing all three at once, it's most of the time you see people do what G's did, where you target the one and then the two, but I guess Pheenoh,
I think that's a little bit faster. That's a little bit faster if you get a good RNG, which wasn't quite what Pheenoh got. I do not know if this was faster like this.
So now we have the Fair and Twilight segment. Normally in an 80% run we would just skip this, but due to a trick we will have to do in about 10 minutes or so, we actually have to complete the Twilight. And our runners are going to be killing every single bug and collecting them except for the first two, because they are going to be having to warp back here later due to a trick coming up in a few minutes. So throughout this, the runners are going to be going through optimally collecting all the bugs, except for those first two like I mentioned, before they get to a trick called Early Master Sword, which is another one of those big tricks that makes this category really interesting in terms of routing and tech that's necessary.
Yeah. Nice side. So in Cora's house, they did something where they both runners did something where they disabled senses right before releasing B to kill the bugs. That skips some text from Koro. I think, if I remember correctly, if you get perfect matching, it doesn't save any time, but getting perfect matching can be kind of hard. So it's just you just ensure that you save some time. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a super easy strat, and it's 100% consistent if you like actually do it correctly. So
Yeah,
it is
and,
by far the best way to do it if you're not.
it is super easy to do correctly. So oh, that's unfortunate. Pheenoh
Pheenoh blocked the wall.
yeah, Pheenoh bugged he had a bad angle. So he bugged the wall. That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
So
there's
that
like
was another instance of a first timer there.
Alright, so on Jesus' side, we can see he is coming up on 2 bugs. And what we're going to be seeing is him like hitting the mist and voiding out. But we're going to pretend like it was like on accident and stuff because... Oh, I guess he's not.
What do you mean?
This is kind of awkward now.
It is faster if you do it
Nice
correctly.
RNG.
Which, Simi would tell you that this can be manipulated, and that if you do it correctly, it is 100% consistent.
Oh, they're both going for it. Okay, I'm just...
Nice, and they both got it correctly. Nice.
My joke really just doesn't land today. This is really awkward.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so we have G's going for early Master Sword.
Unfortunately.
Really bad RNG. But we are going to be manipulating the Shadow Beats, which we have named Jamal, to do something called a Super Jump, which allows us to gain a lot of extra height to get out of bounds, as we just saw Pheenoh do. And as you can see, Pheenoh is clearly heading towards the Master Sword. But it's actually been hidden inside of Forest Temple, specifically for Goron Mine's RTA.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a weird programming decision by Nintendo, but also interesting strat from Pheenoh. I've seen a lot of people just do a midna charge opposed from individual killing, but
yeah,
whatever.
I personally usually do what Cheese just did. I do not know which is faster, but doing what Cheese did is consistent. So yeah, I guess now they're both heading to... Yeah, that was very much a routing mistake from both of them. Not getting the Master Sword, I guess. So they're both gonna get it right now, I guess.
Yeah, I guess they just forgot where the Master Sword was, so they went to the bugs while they were at it. Like, the actual reason for it is because we're not going to be heading back towards Forest Temple, at least not in this version of the route. So it's faster to get them come back, do the super jump again, and then actually get the Master Sword for real this time.
That was rough for Jace, unfortunately. Oh, but nice back half.
Alright, get back up, jeez.
Yeah, nice. And that is really convenient that this platform is right there, because that is just the entrance to the Sacred Door, into the Sacred Groves, which is where the Master Sword is.
And it's actually possible to void out if you jump on the wrong part of the platform.
Or if you don't jump with enough speed, too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
so
now-
this is the Skull Kid chasing sequence. Skull Kid will go to 3 different locations, always the same ones, so we can just rush him. We know the path, we don't need to think about it. But what we do need to think about is the pathing in this area, because you can actually lose a lot of time to bad lines, to bad vectoring, to bad everything. This area is really is heavily movement focused, because there is basically nothing else more than movement. So you really want to, you really want to optimize the movement as much as possible.
Yeah, so we saw Pheenoh do it. Jeez is going to do it as well. Going to be attacked this phase of Skull Kid from a distance, and it'll allow them to do a dash cancel off the ledge and skip like falling into that water. But I think this is probably a good time to touch a little bit on the languages.
Yeah.
As you can see, Pheenoh is running in the Japanese version, and Jeez is doing the Spanish. Japanese is optimal for this category, and Japanese is the most, Japanese is optimal, and Spanish is the second most optimal. But I think it's only like a couple second difference. I don't know like the specific.
It
number.
it is 21 frames. Spanish
21
loses 21 frames over Japanese. So if Pheenoh wins this race by exactly 21 frames, we can blame the language.
Okay, so it really doesn't. Language and TP, for the most part, doesn't really matter. For the few categories where you really can't use a certain language, like in any percent, we can't use Japanese because of its lack of map glitch. But for the most part, running on English, which is I see the most runners run on, is you're never going to run into any major issues with that language.
Yeah. Twilight Princess definitely. The only version differences in terms of tricks is, at least on the GameCube version, is the Japanese version lacking, as DG said, map glitch, which doesn't come up in this run. So we really do not care about the language in this run. You just don't want to be running in the really slow languages like French, or I don't remember the other languages, but like there are some languages that are extremely slow for this category. And
Doesn't
you lose
a lot of it boil down to like rupee text and stuff? If you use rupee, it's
Yeah.
just like so unbelievably slow.
And like now, the optimal language timing doesn't take into account rupees, because you don't need rupees for this
Oh.
one. But
Sure.
yeah, for example, in French, if you get a rupee, I think that's like second and a half. French is slow. French is just slow. So yeah, runners are both executing the Master Foot puzzle, which they managed to get pretty well for now. This is a pretty difficult section of the game, actually. It is heavily RNG based. You just hold a couple directions, but this is extremely difficult to do, obviously.
But of course, our runners have all studied extensively, countless hours studying this puzzle, all its possible solutions.
Of course, yeah.
Or in reality, it's actually the exact same every single time, and the solution never changes. But
Yeah. There are actually two solutions to this puzzle, two optimal solutions to this puzzle. Both 12 jumps, and it is just the same solution. It is just the same solution every time, but mirrored.
so now we have the Master Sword, which is really helpful, but also causes some problems. But after the Master Sword cutscene, we're going to be doing a trick called Back in Time Equipped, and that is going to be our method to get to what's it called, Kakariko, to do the Twilight. What our runners are going to be doing is, after getting the Master Sword, they're going to warp to South Farron, collect the last 2 tiers, and afterwards they're going to save warp to get back to South Farron, and do a back in time the exact same way that they did it at the beginning. And instead of creating a new save, they're going to load another save, which is going to spawn them in the King Bulblin 1 fight, and allow them to go from that fight, finish the fight, and then get to Kakariko early.
Well, yeah, I guess we didn't really talk about this, but as Kai just said in the chat, those are 2 really good runs right now. Those are 2 really good early games. And, well, it is, yeah, it is a bit difficult to know who is gonna end up first right now, because a lot of stuff is still yet to happen. But both of them right now are on pace for a 57, I think. So, yeah, this is some pretty good pace.
Yeah, looking at Jesus doesn't have his splits open right now, but looking at Pheenoh's splits, he is 1.9 seconds behind his PB, which is a mid 59. It looks like. So
But
they're both on pace for a really good run.
This it is to know that Pheenoh lost in his PB. It was in a race too, and he lost a lot of time to Goron Mines. He lost like 2 minutes to Goron Mines.
Yeah.
It was in his race against Sky. So if he can get a good Goron Mines and like a good rest of the run, it is a 57.
Also, Pheenoh failing the backflip, so his run is in fact dead,
Yeah, of
and
course,
he has
yeah.
to reset.
Ah, that's unfortunate.
Out of that cutscene, there is 1 frame where you can import a backflip, which saves like a few seconds. But from there, he is save warping, and that's going to put him at the entrance of Farron Woods. And like I said before, he is going to go to the bridge and initiate back in time once again. And he's going to be loading file 2. There we go. And what that'll do is put him in the King Bulblin 1 fight. And the KB1 fight can be annoying sometimes. There is a lot of RNG to King Bulblin. Essentially, after every 3 hits, he can either take a really sharp turn, or he can continue to go straight. And our runners are going to hope for him to go keep continuing to go straight. So we'll see if Pheenoh and G's get good RNG. So yeah, you see on Pheenoh, he got bad RNG. And King Bulblin is just like stupidly fast.
Oh, that was
G's with good RNG.
Okay, that was really risky from Pheenoh, but it paid off. Okay,
and
nice.
G's with a really good fight, bringing him back some time.
Yeah, this is really close right now.
And this phase on the bridge, they're going to run to about halfway, turn around, and go for a double hit. Good
Just
from
like
Pheenoh, and good from G's. So both textbook fights, basically.
If he gets, in some cases, he can actually hit King Bulblin both time with a single jump, with a single spin attack. But I don't think it's really understood how this works. I've never seen any explanations for it, basically, so it is pretty rare to see it.
Oh, left door, G's, what are you doing?
A left door, if you know, what are you doing?
But so our runners here are having to reload the area. Before that, Eldon was in a kind of a glitch state. It was like half cleared Eldon, half Twilight. And they had to just go into Sanctuary and come back out, and that reloads the area. There's also another method using Epona to clip out of bounds, but it's pretty much task only to make it actually save any time.
Really unfortunate from Jeez. Oh no!
Jeez, what are you doing?
No, jeez!
Yeah, this fight as human can be really annoying. Wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
No!
no. Oh man. Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Good decision, jeez. Ideally, you would stay as human for this entire fight because, oh my goodness,
What is going on?
the ground collision is it's so easy just to get stuck on the ground. But ideally, they would stay human and walk in the spring as human because that's slightly faster than being wolf. But after a certain amount of time, it's just hard to get a quick fight as human.
Yeah. I've never seen that pathing through the bugs actually, but that's worked pretty well, so nice. Those bugs in the basement, they can be a bit tricky to do correctly, but that was pretty much perfect from Pheenoh.
Yes, so we saw Pheenoh do it already. Jeez is going to be killing this first bug, but not actually collecting it yet. Every time you kill a shadow, like a twilight bug, it has a whole animation of the tier forming, and that takes a while. But if they were to, after the tier explodes, enter the load zone by side hopping through it as human, once they come out, the tier will be fully formed, and they won't have to wait for it to form up, which is a minor optimization.
That helps, right? Nice.
Yeah, so Malamart being you just have to bonk that wall and the bug comes right to you. Has to answer the door, you know. We're vampires after all, so we can't enter without permission.
Of course, yeah.
But Pheenoh is in the Eld Inn, and this is probably one of the most optimized rooms in the entire game, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure.
And when it's done cleanly, it looks very good, but it's hard to do well. Right there, he bonked onto the little counter, and what that did is this bug here is normally on a wall, and if you bonk on that counter, it makes the bug come off the wall, so it would be down by the time you get there. We'll see if Pheenoh goes for side hop or bonk, or neither. Okay.
The optimal strat.
Which I think optimal is side hopping into it.
It is side hopping, yeah.
Unfortunately, bonking is the slowest.
So yeah, this house right there is the last instance of the first rumor, which Pheenoh got perfectly.
So coming up, Pheenoh is going to be doing a trick called Bomb House Skip. In any percent, you can do it very easily with the boomerang, but we don't get the boomerang in GMRTA, or at least this route does not get it. There is a slower route that gets the boomerang, but optimally you would not get it. So we have to do Bomb House Skip as Wolf, and Wolf movement is very finicky. In order to do like a side hop or a backflip, you have to be holding a direction for at least one frame before pressing A, which can make getting these side hops and jump attacks very difficult.
Yeah.
But they'll do a series of side hops and jump attacks to get onto this railing, get out of bounds, or not out of bounds, but get in this ledge, and kill this bug before entering the bomb house. And what that will do is completely clear it because the state of the bomb house is tied to whether or not that bug is alive. And that was a very good showing from Pheenoh just then.
Yeah, that was really clean. Let's see it from Jeez.
And if you fail it, you would basically slide all the way down.
Yeah, and that loses roughly like 40 seconds, which is roughly the time that's that bomb house skip saves. So yeah,
very
that's
clean from G's as well. Nice bonk. I wasn't watching Pheenoh, but let's see if G's does the new bomb house strat.
I think he will, yeah.
Recently, Wildebeest has done spent a lot of time in this room trying to get this bug consistent. And
Okay,
yeah, it looks like he's going for it. Basically, this bug is completely invincible until it comes out of the corner. So he did a little bit of a manip there to get that bug to exit the corner.
And optimally, it is slightly faster to not go for this shot, but it is much more consistent to go for it.
Yeah, I believe when he timed it compared to tasks, he lost like exactly 1 second. So RTA, I would much rather take the consistent bug over a 1 second time save.
For sure, yeah. So Pheenoh is now on a cycle right now because there is the steam in the background. There is it's on the cycle, and there is you want to make the early cycle because if you don't make it, you lose a lot of time. Fortunately, this cycle is really easy to get. It is, yeah. Pheenoh got
Unfortunately,
it.
though, he forgot to skip the portal, so his run is
No, that's unfortunate. Yeah.
imagine forgetting to skip the Elden portal. I would never do such a thing.
As well, I would never do that.
That would be like so embarrassing.
Of course, yeah. Imagine.
Let's see how Jesus' fight goes. And also on Pheenoh's side, this bug down here, there's a few different strats for it. Some people mid the charge, some V attack. I hate the mid the charge for that reason we just saw. It's so easy to target multiple different things and not actually kill the bug, like Pheenoh had happen. But he was able to make it work.
So now is a major RNG section of the run. It is Bow. So basically right now, well, it is Bow, but not exactly right now. So now runners are willing to get the Iron Boots, which you can do by talking to Bow 7 times. The thing is, if you remember the game, there is this conversation with Bow, but it happens automatically. You don't have to trigger every single Xbox manually. But this is because of the tamed Ipana flag that we set at the beginning of the game. We broke Bow's conversation, and that allows us to do to get a glitched state known as TD for text displacement, where basically if you interrupt a conversation by any means before it is finished, there is some memory address that will be in a state that it's not supposed to be in the normal game at any point outside of the conversation, and you can use that memory address to manipulate, kind of, I would say, yeah, manipulate, I guess, conversation from other NPCs, including, for example, the sequence that happens when you enter Goron Mines with all the wrestling, which, yeah, it is pretty convenient, and we don't have to do that because it is annoying, and also this would break, and right now it is impossible for us to enter Goron Mines because of the Master Soul. The only way you have is TD. So yeah, you saw Pheenoh talked about 4 to 6 times. I didn't see if he talked to, I didn't see how many times he talked to him. I think 4. But yeah, you can talk to Bo any times. You can talk to Bo 2 to 6 times to get TD to work. It is just 4 to 6 times is faster than 2 to 3 times.
Yeah, anything 4 to 6 will save your progress in the fight, or not the fight, but the conversation. And 1 to 2, you would have to restart the conversation, so you would lose that time that those 2 text boxes take. But here we have, they're just waiting for this rock to fall, not activating the entering Goron or entering Death Mountain cutscene. If you were to go far enough away, you would actually hit the trigger for the cutscene for this area. And certain cutscenes in this game, if you have text displacement, will completely kill your TD. And that is one of those cutscenes. So both our runners just kind of running around in circles for a little bit, until this big, not meteor, but lava rock falls from the sky. And they're going to be talking to Goron. I believe it's just once in this category that you have to talk to him. And that will open up Goron Mines. But we actually still need the Iron Boots because while it is possible to complete Goron Mines without Iron Boots, it is significantly slower to do so and adds many layers of difficulty to it as well.
Yeah.
So they're going to head back and finish the conversation with Bo and wrestle for the Iron Boots, which is another major RNG portion, which we'll hope that both runners get good RNG.
Yeah. And if you were to... Okay, both runners managed to skip both Gorons, that's really good. But if you were to attempt to complete Goron Mines without the Iron Boots, you would have to get, I believe, at least 7 items. I don't remember if you need Jump Strike or not for that, but you need Magic Hammer at least, and you need a lot of hidden skills, which obviously takes a very long time to get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never actually seen someone do it without the Iron Boots, but I imagine it requires a lot of Magic Armor Moon Boots and stuff, so...
Yeah.
They probably don't need Jump Strike, because I don't actually know if Moon Boots works with Jump Strike like it does with Iron Boots. But they at least need Backslides for it. But
yeah.
Both our runners now running back to Orden. This is kind of like the weird part of the run, which is just kind of strange. It's a lot of back and forth running. But coming up is Bo, which unfortunately it is super late into the run. You can't really reset to it. I mean, you can, but you're at the end of the run anyway, so there's not really much point. But just an unfortunate large RNG portion. Bo is essentially modified rock, paper, scissors. In the first phase, he has 4 possible movement options that he can do. He can sidestep, he can evade you, or he can slap. But he also has a 4th option of doing nothing. So you have more of, without inaccurately, you have about half the time he can do a favorable move. And then in the second phase, he can either do a slap, sidestep, or evade you. So basically the same as phase 1, except he doesn't have a nothing option. And Pheenoh right now is going to be hoping that Bo steps to his left or does nothing. And with good mashing, he can one-cycle him, and unfortunately Pheenoh's mashing was a little bit slow. Or it may have been too fast, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, you need to press A, at least it is 12 to 13 times per second to get one cycle. But if you manage to get to press A faster than 15 times per second, you will drop inputs because this game runs at 30 frames per second. So if you get more than 15 CPS, then you will just drop some inputs because you need like the way that works is that the game needs 1 frame to register that you released A. Otherwise, the game just thinks that you keep holding A. So you need A, 1 frame of nothing, A, 1 frame of nothing. So that's 1 input every 2 frames. So 15 times per second.
Yeah. And G's had better RNG than Pheenoh, so he was able to get back just a little bit of time. And from here, they're going to be warping back to Death Mountain. And we would not have to come back here again, thankfully. We are done running in circles. But we're going to be running into a corner instead and by doing Early Elevator. Early Elevator is a trick that used to be more useful. It used to be showcased in all dungeons, which due to route changes it's not. But fortunately, we still have it memorialized in this category. What's going to happen is Pheenoh is going to run into this corner and do a dry roll, draw his sword, and then do a jump attack to clip out of bounds. And what he's going to do from here is transform into Wolf, jump forward a little bit, and then jump into this little pipe in the middle of his screen. And that will allow him to get to this elevator early. and act as a slightly faster way of getting into Goron Mines. You could just like climb, you could ascend a mountain like you did before, but it's just a lot slower to do that, and it's a fairly easy trick, and it's just significantly quicker.
Yeah, and that was really kind of them both, and also huge shout outs to Scarion for that setup. It is just so good.
It's so good. Yeah, I like how Pheenoh aims like super far down. I'm guessing he has something at the top of his monitor or something that acts as a like a visual cue. I know on my monitor I have the logo that I use to line it up, but yeah. So now we have Goron Mines. This first room, I'd say, is probably the hardest room in the entire dungeon to do well. Let's see, yeah. So Pheenoh is going to be activating the second one. You can technically skip both flame jets, but it loses less than 2 seconds to press this switch. But Jeez is going to go for the, looks like he's going to roll underneath of it.
Yeah, that was good. Also, yeah, huge shout outs to Beast Dan for that setup. I guess, since it was kind of just said in the chat. Yeah, that setup is really good anyways.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
no.
jeez, no.
That's unfortunate. Is that death? Oh,
Yeah.
man. So that's like a minute time loss there, because he has to redo the entire room plus this game over cutscene, and he died like right at the very end. What he was trying to do there was use the Squeeble, or not the Squeeble, but the whatever, the Torch Slug. That's his name. He was trying to use the Torch Slug to get iframes from the fire and use that to jump past that flame jet. But unfortunately, he messed that up and took damage from the flame jet before actually getting into the corner where he'd be safe. So Pheenoh now has quite a large lead. Let's see if he gets it this time. Okay, at least he didn't fall in the lava. There's a few different methods for this. I personally prefer the tadpole method, but
which
this
is the
method
one
is
that's
faster.
the tadpole method is the method that Pheenoh went for.
Yeah, unfortunate time loss for G's. But we'll see if Pheenoh doesn't go for KSS and G's does, that could help close the gap. Because at least in previous matches, Pheenoh has not been going for Q shard skip, so if he doesn't go for it, then that could be a big deciding factor for the turnout of this race. Plus, especially if G's gets the first try.
Yeah, and G's has been pretty consistent with it recently, so it could be even right now. It could be really even right now.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. Yeah, a KSS first try only saves about 32 seconds over not going for it at all. But 32 seconds in a short category like this is quite a lot. And there are still many places that can lose a sizable amount of time, so despite that death early on, if Cheese keeps it going, there's always a chance, especially with this Twilight Princess in general.
Yeah. So the section that both runner actually are on right now is the biggest advantage that the Wii version has in this category over the GameCube version. It is a very well-known glitch, but there is actually a glitch in the Wii 1.0 version, I believe, where if you force and equip the iron boots before you touch the magnetic ceiling by equipping another item over it, you will be able to get the magnetic effect, but you will be able to walk on the ceiling instead of slowly clunk your way onto the ceiling, which saves a ton of time.
Yeah, so it looks like there's just over a minute between them or so, just without actually looking at times. I believe the ceiling walking sequence is like 58 seconds or so. as clonking like this, and you see them doing some sword slash combos ending in a stab. That saves a little bit of time, but if they clonk on the wall, then they lose any time that the sword slash is saved, so they're being very deliberate with where they do the slashes. Pheenoh entering the Tektite room. After getting this small key, he's going to be attempting to clip through this gate. As Wolf, there's like a relatively somewhat precise way of clipping through this gate. Normally in a casual playthrough, you'd have to go all the way around and do that, or in other runs we'd have claw shot by this point, but unfortunately we don't have that. And we're on a bit of a time crunch because of these Tektites,
That's
which
really unfortunate.
is making me a little nervous. Unfortunately, as Wolf, you take double damage, so you can really get comboed there quickly and take a lot of damage. And every transform loses a lot of time as well. It's about 8 seconds total, 4 seconds each transform. But luckily, Pheenoh was able to get it somewhat quickly after having to kill the Tektite, so if Jeez can get it quickly and get a fast KSS, then he can really even things out if Pheenoh doesn't end up going for it.
Yeah.
So it is still anybody's match. Let's see how well... Well, even now, they're both in the same room right now, so... Let's see if Jeez can get a quick gate clip. There we go.
Okay, that was that wasn't the fastest, but it was pretty fast too.
Okay, I thought I was gonna go with the heart piece for a second. I was getting nervous. I'm like, why are you on the left side there, Jeez? It's not Hundo. Don't get the heart piece. Let's see. So Pheno's coming up on the room where we would do key shard skip. But let's see if he goes for it. If he goes for it and gets it, that could. Okay, no, she's not going for it. So, there's a method of doing key shard skip where you would basically using that rotating platform, you can jump off of it at its peak and grab that upper ledge, but it is like like 1 or 2 frame perfect, depending on your angle. I'm pretty sure. I believe it's like 1 to 2, and your angle changes the like the frame window.
In most situations, it is frame perfect though, because
So.
that is actually a pretty funny story. That's Galabras told me when I commentated with him. So it was found when this trick was found. It was found that there is 2 possible frames for it, but the second frame wasn't.
Nice.
Oh, that was really
nice.
clean from Jeez.
That's really big for G's. Now there's only like a 10-15 second difference, so if G's can get a really good fight from Dangoro and Pheenoh only gets a 2 cycle, then that could be big. But I'll go ahead and continue with your story.
Yeah, so as I was saying, the frames, the data for 1 frame we still have it, but for the other frame, the data were lost. So there is 2 frames, but we don't know where the second frame is. And that was unfortunate. Pheenoh missed the fast shot for this. And going for the... Okay, that's the worst.
Sync on the throws. Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man. So,
Okay,
just like that, Jeez has pulled ahead
Yeah.
by just a few seconds. So it's really going to... I think it's just going to come down to the early bridge and Dangoro. So, Jeez's IEL experience may really come in handy at this point because... Yeah, he has had a lot of experience with IELs of this dungeon, so that was the deciding factor in a previous race, so that may be the case again, we never know.
That was really clean from Jeez. That is really unfortunate, that mistake at the beginning where with the death. Because otherwise, that could be a really good Goron Mines right now for Jason.
Yeah, G's has been playing very well today. He just had a really unfortunate, or I guess both rounds have been playing very well, but G's just had a really unfortunate death in that first room. That last flame skip, failing it is just so punishing because of how far into the room it is. And if you fail it, you have to redo the entire room. It's just punishing.
3 seconds difference. We have a race. Oh, and Jesus nervous.
Yeah, just gotta keep the composure. Oh. G's going for 4 pulls. Let's see how many Pheenoh does. I'm guessing just a 2.
Or 2.
Oh, he does 4, okay. You can do a minimum of 2 to be able to make it through, but 4 pulls does save the position. However, 2 pulls, if done optimally, is the fastest. It's just 4 pulls is super easy, and you just have a lot of space to roll through, so you don't have to really think about it too much.
And also, it's really not a big difference. Simi timed it, and I think it was just a couple frames, so...
Yeah, it's super nice just doing the... doing the 4 pulls.
It was slower, apparently. But it's a
okay.
It's a very minimal difference anyways, so...
Alright, so in this next area, I don't think either of them is going to be going for parkour because that would be very unsmart and very unwise. But instead they're going to be killing at least one of these Boblins and shooting this eye out. If they kill it and then wait until it actually falls all the way to the ground and dies, it skips a cutscene. And then they'll pull this, the BMOS, to allow them to get past. And once they've done that, they're going to run up, and after activating that switch, it'll allow them to do where casually you would want you to ride the magnet over and shoot down the bridge. But you can actually do a trick by taking off your iron boots mid-fall to basically skip getting the bridge. And G's took it very slowly to really make sure that he got it.
And Pheenoh got it too. Nice.
Good, so...
Pheenoh went really safe there, because in the previous race, he actually cut a rope and fell into water. So I think he was right to go on the right of the thing and not in the middle. Yeah, I think this is PB based because his PB fell in the water.
Yeah, this is definitely PB. Oh yeah, he did, didn't he?
So let's see that first fight. So first is a very easy boss, but there's still some stuff that can go wrong. If I don't exactly know, I think it's if you get bad RNG. I don't know what it is, but like you can lose a bit of time to some stuff. Oh, and you can lose a bit of time to not picking up the chain, for example.
And you can also get quick pulls on the chain, so... This is, I'm pretty sure, one of the previous matches, I think it was between him and Dean Machine. It came down to, I think it was G's having more experience in the aisle department, so getting a quicker Fires fight.
Yeah. The RNG is in weird line. Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, so G's just has one last hit on Fires, and then that'll be GG. So assuming he doesn't forget how to press the B button to do a stab, it should be fairly comfy for him.
Yeah.
And it looking like it'll be a low 59 for G's.
Yeah, still a really good run for everything that happens in this run.
Yeah, considering the death, which cost him at least a minute, this is a really solid run.
Yeah, and EMS too.
Oh, yeah, EMS was really mean to him as well. Yeah, so like a 20-second difference or so between the two runners. I didn't see the exact split time or the exact times on the timers for when they initiated the last hit.
That was some two pretty good runs from both runners. And
Yeah, it was a good showcase that really anything could happen in this run.
it is definitely a PB for Pheenoh. Yeah, GG's.
Yeah, so timing for this category ends upon saying yes to Midna. And unfortunately, G's and Pheenoh are unable to say yes. G's will have to say C, and Pheenoh will have to
Yeah.
say something in Japanese. So unfortunately, both their runs are invalid. So,
GG's.
but GG's to G's with a 59:10 according to race time, and a 59. 26 for Pheenoh, so that is about a 20-second PB for Pheenoh. So both really good runs, and it really just came down to KSS and Dangoro was
Yeah.
like and Gate Clip. Those are like the biggest deciding factors that allowed G's to come back.
That was still a pretty close run at the end.
It was a very good run.
Yo, hello
What's
guys.
Hello.
GG's.
GG's.
GG. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a PB for you. So I'd say
Yeah. Another PB.
Yo, GG.
I've PB'd every race so far.
and
Yeah,
GG's to
congratulations.
G's.
Thank you.
So that was a pretty unfortunate start for you, G's.
Yeah, EMS.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Oh, and goats, yeah. For goats.
Yeah. But still, yeah. Pretty solid for ended that too in Goron Mines.
I
That
guess
was really unfortunate.
I got lucky on KSS, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, this restart was really clean.
Yeah, the KSS was probably like the biggest deciding factor of being able to come back, I'd say. Especially it being first try.
Yeah, the
I
two.
didn't go for it at all.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And also the big factor that allowed G's to pull ahead was you failing the quick strats on Dengoro, Pheenoh.
Yeah.
That is the point where G's
So
caught up.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
That sucks. But yeah, I hope it was a nice race to watch.
It was a nice
There
race
was
run.
you guys really traded the lead a lot of times there, so it was a very good showcase of it was a very good run, very good match.
So I don't have the page up here. I don't exactly know who you guys will be facing next. Let's see.
Let's see, I can pull it up really quick.
I think that was it for me. I think I'm out now.
Yeah,
I think
you're out,
that's
unfortunately.
Fortunately, it for Pheenoh.
Let's see.
I think I'm gonna play against the loser of, or maybe the winner of the other semi-final.
Yeah, I think.
Which
Yeah, so
I'm
you'll
more
face either Anno or Bewilderbeast.
Nice.
And their match is, I believe it is scheduled. Let me see when it was scheduled for. So Anarakis versus Bewilderbeast will be on. Where did they put it? On March 9th at 8 p.m. Eastern. And it looks like that will be on. Actually, I don't know if that's restreamed yet or not, but it is at least scheduled for the 8th or for the 9th of March at 8 p.m. Eastern. And both those runners being very skilled as well.
Yeah, it is gonna be a great run to watch. So yeah, any final words on your runs?
Not really, I'm disappointed a little bit, but it's fine.
I was pretty happy until Goron Mines, and then I just screwed up in Goron Mines like I usually do. Otherwise, it was a good run.
Yeah, I know it was a good race to watch.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. And like especially, I really enjoyed UG's after failing EMS a couple times. When you went for the backhand for the fast EMS backhand and got it, that was pretty sick.
Oh, nice. Did you get that?
Yeah, it sometimes, well, I went for fast EMS, I got bad engine 3 times, I had to kill it to get a heart. Then, yeah, at some point I decided to go back to the fast because Jamal was not having it.
It works, so yeah.
It's good to know, but yeah, it's a bit harder.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
good for this category especially because you have to do it twice.
Yeah. I don't think we've seen Ultra EMS for now in this tournament, so I wonder if we'll see it at some
I
point.
don't think we will.
I
I'll
don't
be
think we
honest.
will as well, but that would be really sick.
If I had no chance to win, maybe I would try, but I don't want to kill a race on this.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyways, so I guess we can hand over to Trez then.
Alright then. So, nice match, GG to both of you, even if this means the end of your run, Pheenoh. Still, cool match, ending on a high with the PB. And well, that's basically all for the short match right now. Thank you so much to Link and to TGD for the commentary. We're gonna be back with more action so far on Friday. That's the next scheduled match between Anorakis and Beast. That's a lower bracket quarterfinals and a half. So maybe there's gonna be a match before that, you'll see. Until then, thank you all so much for watching. Take it easy, and we'll see you all soon. Bye bye.